Hello and welcome back to Bible Wits Bible Corner. Today we're going to start in Acts chapter 20. I'm going to read verses 1 through 8, starting with the English Standard Version. After the uproar ceased, Paul sent for his disciples, and after encouraging them, he said farewell and departed for Macedonia. When he had gone through those regions and had given them much encouragement, he came to Greece. There he spent 3 months, and when a plot was made against him by the Jews as he was about to set sail for Syria, he decided to return through Macedonia. Sopater the Berean, son of Pyrrhus, accompanied him, and of the Thessalonians, Aristarchus and Secundus, and Gaius of Derbe, and Timothy, and the Asians, Tychicus and Trophimus. These went on ahead and were waiting for us at Troas. But we sailed away from Philippi after the days of the Unleavened Bread, and in 5 days we came to them at Troas, where we stayed for 7 days. On the first day of the week, when we were gathered together to break bread, Paul talked with them, intending to depart on the next day, and he prolonged his speech until midnight. There were many lamps in the upper room where we were gathered. New Century Version, and I'm going to keep apologizing for butchering names, but there's several in here that I'm having a hard time with. New Century Version. When the trouble stopped, Paul sent for the followers to come to him after he encouraged them, and then told them goodbye, he left and went to the country of Macedonia. He said many things to strengthen the followers in the different places on his way through Macedonia. Then he went to Greece, where he stayed for 3 months. He was ready to sail for Syria, but some evil people were planning something against him, so Paul decided to go back through Macedonia to Syria. The men who went with him were Sopater, the son of Pyrrhus, from the city of Berea, Aristarchus and Secundus, from the city of Thessalonica, Gaius from Derbe, Timothy and Tychicus and Trophimus, 2 men from Asia. These men went on ahead and waited for us at Troas. We sailed from Philippi after the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. 5 days later, we met them in Troas, where we stayed for 7 days. On the first day of the week, we all met together to break bread, and Paul spoke to the group because he was planning to leave the next day. He kept on talking until midnight. We were all together in a room upstairs, and there were many lamps in the room. Okay, so more of Paul's missionary journeys. We see that trouble continues to follow him, and the trouble that's following him is Jews that do not want to be converted to follow Christ. They still follow the old law, and they think that's what they need to follow. So they are basically calling Paul a blasphemer and trying to rise up trouble against him. So he's weaving in and out, making his way, still encouraging those that he has preached to in the past, and hope and possibly even converting new ones in the process. But then we get to where he is doing a long sermon. We're gonna finish this passage tomorrow. It's It's actually, in my opinion, a fun narrative, not story. It's a fun narrative to talk about. I say narrative instead of story because the word story can sometimes be used to imply not real, whereas a narrative is real. So we're going to get to that tomorrow, but the one thing I want to focus on real quick is he intended to speak until midnight. So it doesn't tell us when he started speaking, but we can definitely put a little bit together here where he spoke for several hours. There's a lot of people today, I don't care what church you go to, this is kind of a common thing across different congregations, that think sermons have to be X length in order to meet certain time criteria as far as length of church service, so we don't miss lunch, this, that, and the other. That stuff didn't happen back in Bible times, and even up into the and early 1900s, it didn't happen. People that were proclaiming Christ kept speaking for hours and hours and hours because to them, it was the right thing to do. I think we have lost track of that. We have lost touch with that. We have lost touch with the idea of it doesn't matter how long a preacher preaches, as long as the message is still God-centered, as long as we still learn something from it, we can grow from it. Those are the things that matter, not the length of the lesson. So, I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.